Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Nalandabodhi. This is part 2 of a Tara talk, Tara and her 21 emanations, that we gave a couple of months ago at New York Buddha Dharma. We're in Nalandabodhi in New York City, and they're kind enough to rent us their space on Monday nights, and today is Wednesday night. And they've invited us to come and do a talk on Tara, because Nalandabodhi does Tara practice every other Wednesday night, and it's open to everyone that wants to come. It's an open practice, so we thought it would be very auspicious to show all the implements that each Tara holds, each 21 Tara, and then afterwards we're going to do a practice session, which won't be recorded. Okay. I wanted to thank Dzogchen Rinpoche, who's the teacher of the center, and also for inviting us. And also want to thank Khenpo Tsultrim Gyaltsen Rinpoche, who is Philip Rinpoche's teacher, and my teacher too, and many of our teachers, the students here study with him. And he's the one that actually gave us the Tara practice to begin with. Khenpo Rinpoche said that if you do Tara, you don't need any other practice. The Tara is everything. And for many, many years now, all of us have studied and been very devoted to Tara. I wanted to, in this talk, I wanted to show all the implements that Tara holds in her left hand. The reason that many of us don't know about it is because when you see tankas of Tara, you never see any of these implements. They've sort of been lost for some reason. You see beautiful paintings of Tara, tankas of Tara, but you don't really know much about what the secret activity is that she does, which is connected to these sacred implements. For instance, if you see a tanka of Manjushri, Manjushri always has a sword. But Tara, for some reason, this has been lost. I don't know why. A few years ago, I read a book by Khenchen Palden Sherab and Khenpo Sewang Dundro, two Tibetan teachers. We call them the Khenpo brothers in New York. They're Nyingma teachers, and they wrote a book called Tara's Enlightened Activity. And when I read the book, I was amazed because every single chapter is dedicated to one Tara, and the ground, path, and fruition, outer, inner, and secret practice of Tara. And it was just, I couldn't believe it, because I didn't know any of these things before. I just knew that I had faith in Tara, but I didn't really understand who she was. And a few years ago, some of us wanted to do like a little workshop on Tara, and so we just did something based on this book. It was very simple. And then like 2 years ago, we decided to do a bigger production of Tara, and then we decided to actually find the implements that she holds, and it took us about 1.5 years to locate all of them, because there was very, very little information about them. So here they are, and we're going to introduce them all one at a time so you can all see them. And a couple of months ago, I wasn't feeling well. I was lying in bed, and I was thinking, if anything happens to me, who's going to know about any of these implements that we've collected? I mean, it's just going to be lost, so I better just put it all on tape, put it on YouTube. And so therefore, like one day when someone is interested about it, they can Google it and it'll come up. Because everything I Googled and everything I tried to find out, no one knew about. So it was a real struggle. But anyway, because of Tara's blessings and Khenpo Rinpoche's blessings, and the blessings of all the teachers that I had that we went to and blessed the whole production that we had, all these implements came to us in magical ways. And Khenpo Rinpoche blessed them all. So a lot of them came from Nepal, and they went through his hands before they came to New York. Okay. Just looking at my notes. Okay. So this is, I'd like to start the talk off with just a supplication to Tara. Tara and her 21 emanations. In Sanskrit, I am known as Tara. In Tibetan, I am known as Droma. In English, I am known as the Great Liberator Heroine. With love and compassion, I relieve the suffering of all sentient beings. I have 21 emanations, but I am really your own true nature. If you need my help, just call my name. My mantra is Om Tara, Tu Tare, Tude Soha. Om Tara, Tu Tara, Tude Soha. Om Tara, Tu Tara, Tude Soha. Trungpa Rinpoche said that this is the year for Tara, and really had the sense that Tara wants to be known now. She wants us to really know who she is, what her powers are, and how we can call upon her for help. Because in this world that we're living in now, we need her really badly. And the thing that's so amazing about Tara is all you have to do is ask her for help, and immediately she helps you. Whenever you see images of Tara, her foot, the white Tara is always in a lotus position with her feet and her hands, they're all with eyes on it. But the other Taras, they have their right foot, they're seated, their right foot is on a lotus flower, ready to leap into action, ready to help. And that's a very, very important thing for us to know, because many other practices, you have to have a transmission to do it. But for Tara, all you have to do is call her name. You can call her mantra, or you can just call her name, and she's ready to help. The origin of Tara in brief. This is from Khenpo Rinpoche, Khenpo Tsoktrung Gyaltsen Rinpoche's instructions on Tara. And I felt like it's very important for us to read this, because he says it in a way that I've never really heard it before. So if you don't mind, I'm just going to read what he wrote. The origin of Tara in brief. In the age known as light of various worlds, the Princess Moon of Wisdom, who had the highest respect for the teaching of the Tathagata sound of drum, gave rise to supreme bodhicitta for the first time. At that time, all the bhikshus exhorted the Princess Moon of Wisdom, saying, "You should pray that through the power of your merit, you may become a man in this very life, and thus accomplish the benefit of the teachings." To that, the Princess Moon of Wisdom replied, "Here there are no men, there are no women, there is no self, no individual, and no perception. These labels as male and female are meaningless. They are the utter confusion of weak-minded worldly beings." Thus she taught the equality of all things. Many are those who wish to attain enlightenment with a male body, but no one wishes to do so with a female body. Therefore, with a female form, till samsara is emptied, I will vastly accomplish the benefit of beings. Thus she vowed. For many millions of years in the king's palace, while skillfully enjoying the 5 sense pleasures, she accomplished the samadhi of liberating beings. Thus she was renowned as the liberator. In the Kalapa, very vast, complete enlightenment, in front of the Tathagata, meaningful accomplishment, she vowed to protect from all harm all sentient beings in the 10 directions. Thus she became known as the swift liberator heroine. In the Kalapa, unobstructed, Bhikshu, radiance of stainless light, received the empowerment of the light rays of compassion from all the Tathagatas in the 10 directions, and thus became Avalokiteshvara. And born from his heart, she protects from the 8 and the 16 fears. In the Kalpa known as a Sangha, the Tathagatas of the 10 directions granted her the empowerment of the genuine reality. Thus she became the mother that gave birth to all the Buddhas. In this present Kalpa, at the Patala mountain, in the midst of countless Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, Devas, Nagas, and Yakshasas, Avalokiteshvara taught the Tara Tantra in 10 million verses. During the Satya Yuga, through 10 million verses. During the Treta Yuga, through 600,000 verses. During the Devapara Yuga, through 12,000 verses. During the Kali Yuga, through 1,000 verses. Thus she is known as the one who vastly accomplishes the welfare of beings. That's what Khenpo introduced Tara. And it's important to understand these 4 stages that are written here, because it says in the clip notes here, it says, there are four ages that occur for humans during the existence of a human world. Satya Yuga means the perfect age, the age in which sentient beings enjoy perfectly complete Dharma, wealth, desires, and happiness. So that's the first stage. This is followed by the Treta Yuga, the 3-share age, in which sentient beings enjoy the 3 of the 4 shares, 3/4 of the 4 qualities above. Then comes the Devapara Yuga, the 2-share age, and then the Kali Yuga, the age of strife, in which sentient beings enjoy only 1 of the 4 shares of each of the 4 above. And that's, I'm guessing, the age that we're in now. And throughout the ages, what has happened with Tara is when she first started to teach, when she first attained enlightenment, it was such a glorious world that was present then. But as time went on, because it was millions of years ago, as time went on, more people fell more and more into the Dark Ages. And as Padmasambhava predicted, that we would enter into the Dark Ages, which I think we're there now. And so this is the time when Trungpa Rinpoche said this is the year for Tara, is because she really wanted these implements to be found. She wanted people to know about her, because she feels like now is the time for her true essence to come out, and how we can call upon her. So I think that okay, I'm going to say one more thing and then I'll show the implements. Tara is an enlightened female Buddha. Many times when you see tankas of her, she just looks like a beautiful goddess, a beautiful dakini, a beautiful mother, or whatever people see her as. But really, she is an enlightened female Buddha. And she has powers and strength, like any Buddha does. And the thing that's different about her is that she's a female, and also you don't need any kind of transmission particularly to do her practice. Anybody could do it, which is a complete generosity on her part. Anyway, okay, so I think, does anybody have any questions? Because I think I'll just go right into the implements. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. So the first thing I wanted to say was what the Khenpos said, was that when we do any practice, or when we have an intention of doing a practice, the most important thing to do is to really in your heart say, I'm doing this, I'm studying this practice, or I'm learning about this, is because I really, really want to help others. It's just not for me. And that's called bodhicitta. That's the most important thing, is the view, our intention of what we're doing. So we're showing these sacred implements because our intention is to understand what they are and how they can really be of help to us and others. Then the other thing I wanted to do is just very quickly go over the mantra, Tara's mantra, and the meaning of the mantra. And then we'll just go into showing the implements. Okay, and I'm reading this from the book, Tara's Enlightened Activity. We may use this mantra for practicing all of Tara's emanations. Om Tare Tu Tare Tude Soha. The first syllable Om invokes auspiciousness, peace, and balance. Om is also connected to the body of the Buddhas. It grounds us in the practice. Tare, just like Droma, Tara's Tibetan name, refers to her as the swift and heroic liberator. When you're a hero, you love what you're doing, so Tara is enthusiastic. Tara liberates us from fears and troubles. More profoundly, she liberates us from samsara. Tu Tare reflects her powerful activity in fulfilling all wishes. More profoundly, she brings us to nirvana, enlightenment. With Tude, we move beyond samsara and nirvana to the ultimate non-dual state of Dharmakaya. Finally, Soha establishes us in the state of complete enlightenment, firmly like a driven stake. Okay, so that's that. So now, Sasha will introduce us to the very first implement, which is Tara number 1, and she holds in her left hand, oh, I should show this. This is Utpatti flower. Every painting you'll ever see of Tara, she always holds in her left hand a blue Utpatti flower. I'm trying to figure out what an Utpatti flower looks like. Was, I don't know, kind of interesting. But they say it's a lotus. But I found this one and I thought, this looks pretty good. So this is the flower that we have. So I'll put it down, but Tara number 1. I'm going to show you these cards that we made. These are Tara cards. In the front, you see her. This is Tara number 1, and on the back, it gives an explanation of who she is and what she's holding. So, Tara number 1 is a red, semi-wrathful Tara, and she proclaims the Dharma. And I'll just read this one card, and then I won't read the other cards, but just give you the explanation of the implement. Hello, I am Tara number 1. In Sanskrit, I am known as Tara. In Tibetan, I am known as Jetsun Droma Nurma Pamo. In English, I am known as Liberator, Swift One Heroine. My color is red. I hold a blue Utpatti flower in my left hand, on which stands a white conch shell, symbolizing the teachings of the Buddha. From my body and the conch shell come sounds of the fearless proclamation of the truth of Dharma. If you need my help, just supplicate me with the following. So this is how you can call upon her. Homage, Tara, Swift One, Heroine, whose eyes flash like lightning, who appeared in a tear from Avalokiteshvara's right eye, as an expression of his supreme love and compassion. Please liberate me and all sentient beings from the suffering of this dark age and transform ignorance into wisdom. Thank you, Tara. And the explanation on the bottom of the card of the conch shell. The right-turning conch shell, one of the 8 auspicious symbols, signifies the fearless proclamation of the Dharma. So that's Tara number 1. This is Tara number 2. Oh, it's down. Okay. A white peaceful Tara And she represents beauty, art, and music. The melon, it's a mirror, the symbol of emptiness and pure consciousness. It is unbiased and unaffected by what it reflects, revealing all phenomena to be empty of essence. That's the melon. And if you see, it's kind of a concave, would you say concave? Mm-hmm. Mirror. I could never figure out what the melon it was until one day I went to see Sakya Trizin, and he gave like a little empowerment, and suddenly he picks up this little mirror, and it's like, oh my God, that's a melon mirror. And there it was. So, anyway. Next is Tara number 3. A golden peaceful Tara representing spiritual wealth. The wish-fulfilling jewel. So when I was looking for this, I was like, what's a wish-fulfilling jewel? And I went to the Rudolf Steiner Christmas fair last year, and there it was, a beautiful citron crystal, and I was like, this looks like a wish-fulfilling jewel. And it's golden, and it's peaceful. A wish-fulfilling jewel, a symbol of skillful means. The Buddha said, within your own mind, you already have the skillful means to succeed, the ability to put others ahead of yourself. This is called the wish-fulfilling jewel. So, I love that one. Because, you know, in our culture, a wish-fulfilling jewel would be like, you know, a nice bank account, or, you know, I mean, diamonds. No, the Buddha said, putting someone ahead of yourself. Okay, this is a rich, golden, peaceful Tara. And this is Tara number 4. And it's a sebum, a long life vase. Held by all deities associated with long life, including Amitayas, White Tara, and Usnishta Vijaya, Guru Padmasambhava holds a long life vase in his skull cup. So this is a wish-fulfilling, a sebum, a long life vase. And if anyone can notice that on the top part, we put in a little photograph of the 17 Karmapas White Tara. See, there she is. And it's filled with Amrita. It came from Nepal and was blessed by Kempo. Okay, this is a bow and arrow, and it's Tara number 5, primordial wisdom. And in Sanskrit, I am known as Kurukule. And for those of you who are familiar with the Shambhala teachings, Sakya Rinpoche, you know that he gives a Kurukula empowerment. And a lot of people don't know that she's a red wrathful Tara, and she's Tara number 5. Because a lot of people don't know that. And the bow and arrow here represents Kurukula's bow and arrow, often represented as flowers, symbolize the combination of attraction and danger of objects of the senses. In this iconographic tradition, which derives from Longchenpa, the bow and arrow are unadorned. Well, when I first read this, I didn't read the part about unadorned. I just kept thinking, oh, the bow and arrow, flowers, or I was thinking, different multicolored. So when I was in Nepal, I went into a little store where they sell a lot of the things you see here, and I found this metal, like a golden metal bow and arrow, and I was like, took it home, wrapped it with beautiful multicolored ribbon, glued it, put it all together, and I was so proud of myself. And I was like, yeah, this is amazing. And then I reread this for some reason, and it was like unadorned. So what? Unadorned, what does that mean? Anyway.
Undecorated.
Yeah. So this was like a no-show. But luckily from one of our other plays, we had this nice little bow from a movie called Brave. It's a cartoon, and we use it for a lot of our plays with Siddhartha. And so we took that out. And when we did our play of the 21 Taras last summer, I couldn't find the arrow. And then I borrowed an arrow from John Durazio, who had an arrow from Tibet. And today I was guided to bring this arrow, which is like a Shambhala arrow that I have at home. So, okay, that's Tara number 5. Now, this is Tara number 6. I'm very proud of myself because I made this. Like about 20 years ago, I saw the Kempo brothers that wrote this book, and they gave a talk on Vajrakalaya at the Dharma Dhatu, now the Shambhala centers. And I had a little purbo with me, not this one, a little one, and they blessed it, and they said, well, you have to make a stand for it, you get some clay, and you make a little triangle, you put it in here, and then you paint it blue. And it's like, great, okay, and I still have that. But for play, and we used that little, see in this photograph, we used it for the photography, but when you do a stage production, you want big things to look good on, on stage. So I got this at a farmer's market by my house. They had a Tibetans down there for like 2 times, and I got a few things there. Anyway, this is it. And here's the ribbon, and I had to make another one and see how it fits. You too can have this on your shrine. Right? And it's kind of like a fun activity. So, wait, I have to read this first. Okay, this is Tara number 6. And Tara number 6 is a dark red, wrathful Tara. And she represents mental health. The purva, or ritual dagger, a tantric implement associated with Vajrakalaya and other wrathful deities. It symbolizes the subjugation of powerful negative forces, demons, and obstacles. Tara number 6. Okay. Well, this is one of the favorites of the kids from our play this summer, because it's a sword. And this is Tara number 7. Blue-black, wrathful Tara destroys negativity. When I first read about this, I was like, where am I going to find a flaming sword? So when I went to this farmer's market, what happened was it was freezing cold one winter, like 2 years ago. I was just sitting in my house, and I was like, I'm not going out today. And then I got this very strong message that I had to go to the farmer's market. I was like, no, I am not going to the farmer's market today. And so you have to go to the farmer's market. So I go to the farmer's market, and for the first time, I see a Tibetan man there with 2 tables laden with all kinds of ritual objects. I'd never seen him there before. And on the table was this flaming sword, among other things, and the purva, and a few other things you see on this table. So I was like, wow, okay, thanks, Tara. So this destroys negativity, and we can really use this implement in this day and age. A flaming wisdom sword, Yeshe Ral Gri, I guess Tibetan. As the implement of wrathful deities, it cuts through ignorance and severs and destroys demons and enemies of realization. Blazing fire is a symbol of Rigpa, primordial wisdom. Destroys negativity. Okay. This is Tara number 8. Thank you. Tara number 8 is dark red, wrathful Tara, protects from bullies. A flaming Vajra made of meteoric iron. It is a symbol of Tara's Vajra wrath. So it protects us against troublemakers, bullies, people who criticize us or bring lawsuits. Slay all enemies with a frown of wrath on your lotus face. Thank you, Tara. Please annihilate the warriors of Mara, monster fears, and protect us against troublemakers. So this is an interesting story because I could not find a flaming Vajra anywhere. And I went into a Tibetan store in the Greenwich Village, and because I went to Nepal and nobody had any flaming Vajras. They didn't even know what they were. And there on the table was a flame just sitting by itself, and there was a Vajra. I was like, okay, there's a flame, there's a Vajra. How hard could it be to make a flaming Vajra? So I went home, brought two separate things, and then I went to Williams-Sonoma and bought this nice little pot, and I bought like some clay. Sasha said, buy some clay made out of like red clay. And then I put wires in it, the bottom of both these things, and grounded them in there, and then let it dry. Isn't that gorgeous? I mean, there's a flaming Vajra, so when you have to make a prop for a play, or a prop in life, you just invent it. But I think it's so gorgeous because it all looks good together. And it's made of meteoric iron. It is a symbol of Tara's Vajra wrath. A dark red wrathful Tara protects from bullies. There you go. Okay, the next one is green Tara. Green Tara, I love this card because everybody loves green Tara. Of all the Taras, she's the only one that's green. And she helps when we are lost, protects from fears, finds lost objects. Okay, I have to read this because this is, in Sanskrit I am known as Tara. In Tibetan I am known as Jetsun, Senjin, Nakche, Droma. In English I am known as Green Tara of the Senjin forest, where trees and herbs of medicinal power flourish. My color is emerald green. I hold a blue pati flower in my left hand, on which stands an 8-spoke wheel, symbolizing the Buddha's turning of the wheel of Dharma, and its power to accomplish swift spiritual transformation. From my body and the Dharma wheel radiates waves of turbulent beams of wisdom light, protecting beings from all outer and inner fears. If you need my help, just supplicate me with the following. Now, what it says here for the Dharma wheel, Dharma chakra, a symbol of Buddha's teachings and the Dharma's power for swift spiritual transformation. But what she does is, Homage Mother, your right hand adorns your heart in a mudra that symbolizes the 3 jewels. From the wheel of Dharma, marking your left palm, you radiate turbulent light. Protect me and all sentient beings from in and outer fears, or when we are lost. So basically, the symbol is the wheel, but Tara has the wheels in her left hand. They're in her hand. She's not holding anything. The wheel is in her hand, and she's just radiating it and protecting people. So this is a very powerful symbol for green Tara. And many times when I've been lost or lost something and I call upon Tara, she's always there. She's always there to help immediately. This is a victory banner, which I got in Nepal. Rich red wrathful Tara helps us maintain our Dharma practice and study. The victory banner, one of the 8 auspicious symbols, in ancient times, these adorned the chariots and processions of victorious monarchs. The victory banner became a Buddhist emblem to symbolize Buddha Shakyamuni's victory over the 4 Maras.
That's better. Yeah.
Tara's crown here is known as her chakra, or D-I-E-D-E-M, Didam. Anyway, it's very beautiful. Okay, this is Tara number 11. Orange-red wrathful Tara represents wealth. But it's a treasure vase. The symbol of wealth deities, it overflows with inexhaustible jewels. Treasure vases are often placed or buried at key sites as offerings to the earth, protects and to promote peace and abundance. They're the protectors. So inside, I got this in Nepal. I went into this little store where I got most of the things, and the Nepali man said to me, "Oh, do I know what a treasure vase is?" He goes in the back and he brings out this vase and a smaller one. He said, "All the Tibetans come here. They come here for these vases. They come in droves, and I send them all over the world, and I make these up." I said, "I'll take the big one." And then I said, "What do I put inside?" So he told me 5 medals, different kinds of jewels, and he gave me a little jambala rupa. So it's like, I didn't know where to get the jewels. So I saw these 2 Tibetan monks walking around, around the stupa to stores. And I started following them because I wanted to know what they were looking for. Turns out they were looking for jewels too. And there were like bags and bags of these jewels. And they were looking and they said no to that. They go to another store. And finally they bought like a whole bag of jewels that they liked. And as soon as they left, I said to the man, "I'll take what they had." And I just bought that. So that's a treasure vase. Okay, that's Tara. This is Tara number 12. A golden yellow peaceful Tara. It's a knot of eternity, harmony and balance. A knot of eternity, endless knot or glorious knot, a symbol of Buddha's mind. It invokes continuity, love, harmony, and endless space. This is a very ancient symbol that dates back to at least 2500 year BC in the Indus Valley. And here you have like a little hook. I guess someone had it hanging on their wall. Okay. Oh, here's a favorite. Okay. Ta-da. This is Tara number 13. Dark red wrathful Tara protects against war. Everyone should have one of these on their shrine. Open-pointed vajra. In the hands of peaceful deities, the vajra's prongs are rounded and closed. Here the prongs are standing straight and open, symbolizing Tara's vajra wrath, which can destroy all negativities and even stop wars. This was interesting because I couldn't find this at all. I mean, you could Google it and you could see it, but you couldn't buy it. Then I found out that it was something that was used in Japanese Vajrayana Buddhism. And this man from Nepal sent this to me. And isn't it amazing? An open-pointed Vajra. Okay. Okay, this is Tara number 14, which is a blue-black wrathful Tara removes subtle obstacles from our mind. And it's a pestle. Its symbolism is the concentration or crushing of various experiences and so subtle negativities into one taste. So it's crushing. And this is interesting. I was just walking on 86th Street on the east side, minding my own business, when I got this very strong message that I should go to Williams-Sonoma and look for a pestle. And I said to the lady, "You have a pestle?" She says, "We have a mortar and a pestle." I said, "I don't need a mortar, just a pestle." I put something big, because I was thinking stage production. And she said, "Well, maybe you would like this." And she opens up one drawer and said, "I don't know how we got this. It's from France, and we only have one piece. I'll take it." That was the pestle. Isn't that amazing? Okay. Next is this. I'm sure everybody has seen this. This is tar number 15. It's rich white peaceful tar for purification. And it's filled. I put some saffron water in here. But very often if you go to any kind of empowerment, you will be given some saffron water in your right hand, and that's to purify. It's called a labum or a bumpa. The vase and its anointing nectars, which is saffron water, symbolize purification, the washing away of all mental obscurations and negative karma. The nectar is made from pure water and saffron, which make it a beautiful, rich golden yellow. So that was pretty easy to get. Okay, this is tar number 16, which is a double dorje. And I found this in the farmer's market, just like this. I couldn't believe it, there it was. Okay, red peaceful tar protects from enemies. And a double dorje is the emblem of Buddha Amoghasiddhi, Lord of the Karma family, and the Dhyani Buddha of the northern direction, whose consort in tantric sadhanas is Tara. The double dorje represents all-accomplishing wisdom. See, and you see this double dorje, the prongs are closed. When the open-pointed vajra, the prongs are open. This is, thank you, this is a stupa. Usually when we see stupas, they're large structures that you'll see near a monastery. This is an orange peaceful tar, protects from violence. See if you see the picture of tar here. I should explain that all these photographs were taken with one of our students, a Tibetan girl, she's 15 years old, Jamyang, and she holds all the objects in her hand. A stupa or a chotran, as a hand object, it represents the enlightened mind of the Buddha. And underneath, you can open it, and a teacher can bless it and put something sacred in. And Khenpo Tsodzong Gyaltsen Rinpoche wrote something for us and put it in there.
Rochelle, did you mention that's a red tar? I wasn't sure if you mentioned.
It's an orange peaceful tar.
Orange peaceful, okay.
Yeah. Okay, this is tar number 18. A white peaceful tar protects from poison. And it's a rabbit, a symbol of a rabbit. In Tibetan, Ri Wang means rabbit, and Ri Dag means herbivore, an animal that eats only grass. Both rabbits and deer are included in the term Ri Dag. One of the Jataka tales, the recounting of the Buddha's Shakyamuni's previous lifetimes, tells of his time as a compassionate hare that sacrificed his life to save others. Legend says that Indra, in honor of this noble activity, placed the image of the rabbit on the moon. So, I mean, could it be more perfect? It's a white rabbit on a moon. Okay. Now you probably want to know where I found this rabbit. Right? So, like 2 years ago, it was right before Easter, and I'm thinking, if I want to find an image of a rabbit, I should go now, before Easter. And there's this store on 3rd Avenue, like the 60s. I can't remember the name of it. But they sell things, you know.
Are the monkeys in it?
They,
Good store for the monkeys.
Anyway, I had this very strong feeling that I should go in there. But before I went into the store, I said, Tara, if there's anything here you want me to see, please show it to me. So I go in the store, and Trungpa Rinpoche gave us a transmission on how to go shopping. He said, you go into a store, most people just start looking at things. He said, but you go into a store and you don't look at any, you just do an overview. Just stand there and just do an overview. So I went in and I did an overview, but I didn't see anything. So and then I started walking around, overview. I didn't see anything. And I was like getting a little upset because I was like, I don't see anything. And then suddenly I said, okay, Tara, I really need your help. Please show me what, a rabbit. And I'm not kidding, I just turned around and there on a shelf were these rabbits. I couldn't even believe it. A white rabbit sitting on a moon. There it was. So because it was made out of like porcelain or something, I bought 2 of them just in case one of them breaks. I mean, I was like very nervous. Oh, Kisansha, yes. Okay, this is Tara. This is Tara number 19, but maybe you should open it and hold it, Sasha. Tara number 19. John, can you see it?
No.
Oh, okay, I'll take it.
How about that way?
Okay,
Put it behind you.
okay. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, Tara number 19. A peaceful white umbrella Tara protects from nightmares, obstacles to our Dharma practice. Now, a white umbrella. A white umbrella is a symbol that Tara is held in the highest respect. So whenever you go, you see a Tibetan teacher, if they're very important, there will always be some monk walking behind them with the umbrella. But where do you buy a white umbrella? Well, you can't buy one in America. So for our photo shoot, I found one at the Rubin Museum. If you can see this, it's just a beautiful umbrella that came from Thailand, and it's white. But it's so pretty in the picture. But for the stage production, we got this from Nepal, and an 8-year-old boy was 8-year-old Tibetan boy was very proud of the fact that he could hold this and recite his lines with the umbrella in his hand. A white umbrella is a symbol that Tara is held in the highest respect. As an individual deity, practiced separately from the assembly of Taras, she is portrayed with 1,000 arms, feet, and heads, and is completely covered with 1 billion eyes. She protects from nightmares and obstacles to our Dharma practice. And it just so happens that Sakya Trizin, I think, last year, gave a white umbrella empowerment. I didn't know it was a Tara, but I received it. And I had a card that said, white umbrella. And I asked the monk, what is this? He said, oh, it's a white umbrella empowerment. Then I found out that she's Tara number 19. So, and I said to the man in Nepal, I just want a small white umbrella, small, for a little kid to hold. And that's what he sent to me. Okay, this is Tara. This is number 20. This is a very important Tara. She protects from contagious diseases. Um, I'm just going to read it because it's so important. Originally, I was sent this little tiny, it's okay, there's little tiny, it's called a zamatag, a container filled with medicinal substances. So we used this zamatag in the photo shoot, see? But for the stage production, we really wanted something bigger, so then he sent me this. Epidemic sickness, both in humans and domestic animals, has always been one of the most feared processes in Tibet and India. They were terrified of an epidemic. The ability of the sun's light to dispel contagion is honored in all medicinal systems. Tara's right eye, like the sun, has the power to destroy sickness. Her left eye, like the moon, brings health. So with the right eye, she's destroying, and with the left eye, she's bringing health. So this is a zamatag, and often you'll see the medicine Buddha is always holding one in his lap, and other Buddhas, they're holding this zamatag. I think Guru Rinpoche holds one in his skull cup, giving out medicinal substances. So when you, this is what I do when I supplicate this Tara. I'll say, please protect me, and then I'll say, for whatever is bothering me, or if I'm supplicating for someone else, please protect so-and-so from this particular sickness, and please send them the medicine that they need. And please protect me and all sentients, but you can add in what it is you need exactly. Like make it an exact order for yourself or for someone else that you know. And then you say, protect me and all sentient beings from contagious diseases, plagues, and fevers, and grant us excellent health, both internally and externally. Thank you, Tara. So that's the zamatag. And then, last but not least, is Tara number 21. And Tara number 21 is a white, peaceful Tara, and she represents long life. It's a golden fish. A single golden fish symbolizes great realization and the ability to liberate beings from samsara, suffering. A pair of golden fish is one of the 8 auspicious symbols, but for Tara, she only holds one fish, and that's for long life. So you could say, homage, Mother, endowed with the power to pacify the duns, evil influences that harm our health and longevity. Your wisdom light of emptiness, clarity, and unceasing compassion emanates out and summons back to us and all beings the energy, vitality, and inner radiance we have lost. Ture, most excellent Mother, please grant us a long and healthy life. Thank you for your help, Tara. So that's Tara number 21. And originally, when we did some production a couple of years ago, I found this little white fish in Chinatown. And the girl that played Tara number 21, we put her in a white dress and we put this pin on her. And it's just like a very, very cute little fish. So that's it. And also, I made this little chart. It's called Tara and her 21 emanations, which goes in the back of the card set. And it says, which Tara am I today? Which Tara shall I call upon for help today? And which Tara shall I call upon for a friend or a client? And there's a 1 through 21, and like I use a pendulum to see which one it goes to, or you could just pull a card, just pull a card and see what the reading is. And the cards are very magical, and then you always get the reading that you need. So, does anybody have any questions?
How do we get the cards?
The cards were made up by the Miller at the Children's Theater and Chorus. And we didn't sell them, we just made them up. This last, I think, March, we were working on the stage play. We worked with these Tibetan kids in Queens. This little voice in my ear whispered to me one morning, put a photo shoot together and photograph all the implements using one Tibetan girl. And then Sasha and I did that together. And then we never sold the cards. It's if you want to make a donation, you go on our website and then we send you the cards. So that funded our play. Welcome. Anyone else have any questions?
I was just wondering how this relates to spiritual materialism.
What do you mean?
Well, from what I understand, Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche had said that we need to be mindful, careful of spiritual materialism. And it seems like a lot of these objects and mantras associated with the specific emanations is for the purpose of relieving, alleviating some kind of ailment. So I was just wondering, I just wanted some clarification on that. If that makes sense.
Spiritual materialism. I have no idea. It occurred to me that there was spiritual materialism.
I don't really think it does fit. I think spiritual materialism is more when you acquire it, as if you went for every single one of these cards to acquire them.
Mm-hmm.
That's the materialism, to go and, to every teacher just to acquire.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what you're doing here. When you work with a deity, you're not really, it's not a badge of honor or anything.
Yeah, I mean, I just thought that, well, it's interesting because when I was first working on this, people said to me, why don't you just get a painted image of these things or a photograph and just use them in your play? And I had a very strong feeling that we had to find the objects to really bring down the energy. They couldn't just be a photograph. It had to be the real object. So, it was just coming from a very genuine place. So I don't know. Shannon?
Well, I'm just wondering if, I would guess, if in any of the wrathful emanations that you were describing, if any of them are associated with removing the obstacles of spiritual pride, something like that.
Yeah. See, when people think of Tara, they think of a sweet, beautiful, deity or a goddess. But Tara is a lot more than that. And that's what this is all about. It's like she's wrathful and she's peaceful. And wrathful doesn't mean that she's mean or she's vicious. Wrathful means that she has the energy in a compassionate way to really work with the situation at hand. She's not a wimp. She has strength. And that's important, to see the feminine energy. And as she says, what happened was, when we did the photo shoot, this was an interesting teaching. When we did the photo shoot, we used one beautiful young girl, and she put on all the different colored leotards and tights, and Sasha painted a skirt. And we had wrathful ornaments and peaceful ornaments, and we had skulls and the hair and everything. And it all looked very beautiful. And the purpose of the cards was that people could really see the implements. But for the stage play, in my mind, we were thinking we would get beautiful these Tibetan girls from the Tibetan school in their summer school program, and then we would have the 21 girls. But it turns out the big girls didn't want to do the play, they wanted to do something else. And they gave us the kids, boys and girls, mostly boys, age 5 to 11. And so Tara became a neutral gender play.
Boys were the cutest.
The boys.
Really nice.
And, in my mind, first of all, the leotards and tights were out. Second of all, the crowns, I was decorating in my mind all the crowns, out. But no jewelry, no earrings, they're out. So I was thinking, what is Tara showing me now? Because what's the message? So talk about spiritual materialism. Forget about spiritual materialism. The concepts of what we think we want to do is just totally, when you're working with this kind of energy, Tara's directing the show. And it's not about us. So the first production was the photo shoot, which we showed all the implements and how she would look. But the thing is, we created a modern day tanka because it wasn't a painting, it was a real person. And the important thing about Tara, she's really our own true nature. We were really showing teenage girls that they can emulate the strength of Tara, which we thought was very important. But when we were working with the boys, they were like, are we going to have to wear wigs? Because isn't Tara a girl? I was like, this is a gender-neutral play. There are no boys and girls. And I was like, okay, they got it. Because they were so little, they had very few concepts about gender. And then the day of the production, and the day of the play, we had some crowns that the girls wore, and the boys wore, because these upata flowers came with leaves, green leaves. So we put green leaves on their head, and we said they were like Tarzan. They said, yes, I'm Tarzan. And we used jewelry that was like the Raj would wear in India, the long gold necklaces that a boy or girl could wear. And then the Rathul jewelry was like skull cups and bones and everything, so boys or girls could wear it. And then in terms of the wardrobe, we were literally lying awake at night. How am I going to costume these kids? What are they going to wear? And then I realized that I'm just going to get pashminas in the right colors, put a hole in the middle, put it over like a poncho with like a little thing, like a little belt. Like Sasha dressed everybody. And then they were very concerned about where they were going to get dressed. Because Tibetans are very, they're very,
Conservative?
yeah, they're very, what do you call it? Private about, wardrobe, whatever. Modest. It's like, no worries, kids. You wear your own clothes and the costume will go over, and they were so relieved. So the kids just wore ponchos in different colors with the jewelry, and they came out and they felt so good about themselves. They felt the day before we brought all the implements, we created a shrine. We put made a beautiful classroom with white fabric that Sasha brought. It was like a beautiful palace for Tara. And then on the windowsill, there was a big ledge. We created all these on the windowsill, 1 through 21. Children came in and brought their objects the day before. We did a lasam. We brought down the energy. It was the whole thing from A to Z was bringing down the Tara mandala. And then the day of the play, they all came in, recited one by one, and then we put them into a Tara mandala on the floor, and we sang the Tara songs, and we really felt the energy coming down and the innocence and sweetness of these young kids. And that was like stage 1, and this is stage 2 of now practicing Tara. with all the implements. So I don't know. We were just guided to do this, but for us personally, we practice Tara, so it's not that big a deal. But mainly we did it for the benefit of all sentient beings. That was our inspiration. So.
Yeah, I just had a quick question about.
Wait.
Oh, sorry.
It seems like all the white taras are in the full lotus position.
Yes.
And I think none of the other taras are. Am I right?
Mm-mm.
I was wondering if you knew what that signified.
It seems like. Does anybody know? John, you know? It seems like all the white taras are the lotus, and they have the eyes. But the white ones are the only ones that have all the eyes. Like the eyes on their palms, the eyes on the forehead, and the different parts of like the chakras. And the other ones are just regular. So I don't really know why. John, do you know?
Oh, dear. I don't know your name.
Gisela.
Gisela. I was thinking about Gisela's question about spiritual materialism. This is a tantric practice, and in tantra, in the deity practices, there are two stages: the creation and the completion stage. And this is a completion stage. A creation stage practice that we're describing when you create the visualization of the deity. And the purpose of that is to change the way we see the world. And we tend to see the world as a kind of a veil of tears, and that we walk through it and we're constantly judging it as good and bad as it applies to me, which is a kind of a mean way of seeing it. We see it in a utilitarian or self-serving fashion. And the idea of the creation stage practice, when you do any of these, when you work with a deity, is that you change the way you see it so that you see the world as being inherently sacred. And really what that means is that it's of value for no reason whatsoever. It's just inherently valuable. And so we see the world as being, they say of the tantras that when you have the eyes to see, the world is a heavenly palace full of gods and goddesses. But we tend to walk through it, we see it as sort of this awful place that we're trying to survive in. And so if you use these practices as a way of transforming, sort of opening up your mind to the beauty of the world, to see it as it is, suchness, in emptiness and luminosity. They always talk about those two in union. That's the purpose of these creation stage practices. But if you use these things as a way of sort of getting health or money or becoming famous or then it's spiritual materialism, and it's very naive, and crude. But really, I think that's the beauty of tantric practices, that we might transform the way we see the world. And then there's the completion stage practice, which is the two always go together, right? You always do creation and completion together. You start with completion, then you create the visualization, and then you end with the completion. And the completion stage practice is to just rest your mind in clear emptiness. You dissolve the visualization, and you just rest your mind in open meditation. So I guess what we've been hearing tonight is creation stage. It's been a very rich, colorful presentation of sort of a symbolic representation of how we might see the world as being very beautiful, and that's the way I take it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else? So now we'll close. Thank you so much, Nalandabodhi, for inviting us to come. If everyone has, we're going to do the Tara's dedication of merit. Does everyone have a turn? May the deity whose practice I perform in all my lifetimes, who embodies the 3 times victor's enlightened activity, who has one
face, 2 arms, is blue, green in color, swift, peaceful, and brave. May the Great Mother, holding a blue lotus flower, make everything auspicious. Sarva Mangalam, may it be auspicious.
Sarva Mangalam.
Sarva Mangalam.